Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to FS19 and Oklahoma Ride Along. Now, I know it's been a while since I've released one of these videos. I've been playing FS22 a little bit. If you haven't noticed, if you guys are new here to the channel and you're here to see some older FS19 gameplay. I know that a lot of people right now are all playing FS22, and that's great. I played some FS22 as well, but gosh, I just missed all the cool mods and like you know, my story-based gameplay of FS19. I've done several FS22 episodes in a row, and it's just still kind of a grind for me. I mean, FS22 is going to be a great game in like a year maybe. I mean, it's a great game now, but it's really going to be fun in maybe like a year. So if you guys are new to the channel, thanks for stopping by to check me out. If you're old hands at TNS Virtual Farms, I'd like to say welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming to see what this episode is all about. Now, if you wonder from the thumbnail if I was robbed, well, I wasn't robbed. Now, what has happened is I have actually worked out a deal with with one of the local implement dealers, and I have actually traded pretty much all of my older, smaller equipment for a new piece of equipment. Now, in the last video, we got our new disc, or we got our bigger disc rolling. As you can see in this video, we have our bigger cultivator here that Courseplay is doing a fantastic job with. We just got this field 33 finished up, and I am going to go show you our new piece of equipment, because that new piece of equipment is going to be used in this episode. Alright, we'll stop our driver. We already have that saved, so we'll go ahead and clear that out. Be done with it. Alright. So, as you found out in last episode, our 4490 here is back and it's in action, and we're getting to make use of our bigger equipment. We're going to go park this cultivator over here. Cultivator did a really nice job, and it's actually a really nice mod too. I think it's actually, I don't know if it's a Russian mod or if it's a Ukrainian mod or Eastern European from somewhere, but it's a really nice mod. The mod author did a great job, and it's actually it's from the official mod hub. But it's really detailed. It's got lots of moving parts. It's just the perfect size cultivator for this tractor, and it's got it has I forget what you call them, like the flexible hoses, for the hydraulics and all. So it's a really neat mod, but you can find it pretty easily on the mod hub. Alright, let's hop out here, and we are going to unhook this thing, and I'll show you, if you didn't know what I was talking about. See the hydraulic hoses here. Well, go ahead and dynamic hoses is what it's called. Yeah, that's what it's called. Go ahead and unhook that, and we will wander. Yeah, that's the name of the mod right there. It's the KTP 7.4, and there's actually a larger version of this too. That's like an 8 something or a 9 something, I think. But anyways, just pretty much your standard cultivator. And there's, of course, there's our disc. it's a great mod. It's not quite as detailed as the cultivator is, but it's still a good mod. It's still very functional. All right, and if you and I mentioned to you guys in the last episode, I got the swing radius fixed on this hitch. Now I can't remember what the name of it, what the name of the actual the line in the scripting is, but I got that fixed, so the tractor's able to turn a lot sharper than it used to be able to turn, more realistic, without the hitch binding it. All right, so in the last video, I introduced you guys to our new fertilizer system over here, which I'm pretty excited about. Pretty neat, works pretty good. So now what we're gonna do, so as you can see, it's late autumn. Let's go and take a look at our seasons calendar. Now I am playing 6-day seasons, so we are in day 5 of fall. So we're getting down towards the end of fall, and it's time to sow some wheat. Now we are gonna sow wheat in both fields 33, which is what we just finished cultivating, and we're gonna also sow wheat over here in field 32. So 32 and 33 will be in wheat, and then 34 and 35 will be in one will be in corn and one will be in soybeans. Probably 34 will probably be in corn, and 35 will probably be in soybeans. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my latest piece of equipment, and if you don't know what it is by now, it is a 1590 John Deere no-till drill with a liquid fertilizer system. So along with the liquid fertilizer system on this drill and the fertilizer tank setup that I have over there, we're going to be using the manure mod. And if you're not familiar with what the manure mod is, I'm going to show you in just a minute when we put some fertilizer in this drill. Alright, we're going to get this thing backed up, and we're going to get it loaded up with seed, and we're going to bring it over and get it loaded up with fertilizer, and we're just going to go sow some wheat. Alright, let's get backed up here. We'll get backed up here to our drill. Alright, let's hop out here. Okay, let's hook this baby up. I could have got a little bit closer. Let me back up a little more. Probably about right there. Alright. Okay, we'll hook this baby up. Now, one thing about this drill, which is kind of unfortunate because it's a really nice mod, now the drill itself, like the row units and all, you know, the openers and all that stuff, is really nicely done. The box and the guardrail, or the handrail and all, is really nicely done. The row markers, they actually function, but there's some things like on the hitch, and you know, there's no dynamic hoses and things like that, which I'm not gonna knock it because I still think it's a pretty nice mod. It's just not quite as finished as some of the other mods that are out nowadays are. So we're gonna go ahead and fill this thing up with seed. I have to hop back up here, I do believe. Oh, one thing I'll show you, for those of you guys that are frequent viewers of the channel and have been following this series, so this thing is actually in very good condition. It's not brand new, but it was completely rebuilt at the dealership, and so it's in excellent condition. Basically all the wear parts and all were set back to were brand new, so I mean the operating hours on it are basically set back to 0. So that's the story with the drill. I just bought it. and I forget what I paid for it. Let me go see if I can show you guys or figure out what I paid for it. So let's go, just so you guys know, because some of you guys would probably want to know. Let's see, this was yesterday. When I bought it. So I'm trying to think. So with my trade-in, because if you remember, I used to have a smaller disc. I had a smaller cultivator. I had a smaller chisel plow. That's what I actually used the first time I had to plow a field. I pulled that behind my 4430 John Deere. So I had those 3 pieces of equipment, and then I had a John Deere grain drill that I also traded. It was a 3550, I think, is what that grain drill was. I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I traded this stuff off. But anyways, I traded those 4 pieces of equipment, and I got $9,000 for those pieces of equipment. Now, if you guys, if you guys are followers of this series, you guys know that stuff was pretty well used. I drug it out of my fence row, fixed some of it up, and used it my first year here on the farm, just because I really didn't have a lot of money, and that's just pretty much what I had and what I had to use. And this tractor was not operational either until just recently. So if that sounds like something that if you guys are new to the channel and that sounds like something you'd like to go back and watch, I'd encourage you to go back to the first episode and watch it, because it's been a lot of fun. It's been a neat journey, and it's been fun. All right, so let's put some seed in this dude, and I don't know. All right, so we've got 33, almost 34 bushels in there. What we will do is now we are going to wander over here to the fertilizer rack, and I will show you guys, if you don't already know, I'll show you kind of how this manure system works. Alright, we just got to get this thing over here and kind of get it in line where we can hook our hose up to the back, and we'll get this thing filled up with some fertilizer. We'll put some fertilizer in. I don't know if we'll fill it up or not, but we'll put some fertilizer in it. I actually might be a little bit close, but we'll go give this a shot. Alright, so one thing the manure mod does is it allows you to actually use hoses and, pull them around by hand, and it just makes the whole liquid transfer for manure and for fertilizer like this, it just makes it more realistic. So that should attach. Yep. Now I don't know. Yeah, I'm not real sure if I'm going to be able to attach this or not. I may have to back up. I may have to back up and move over a little bit, because this hose is kind of long. And the manure mod can be kind of finicky, because, the hoses, these hoses in real life, they're flexible, but they're not, overly flexible. And manure mod has kind of taken that to heart. And sometimes you just kind of have to have your piece of equipment in just the right spot to be able to make this work. All right, so let's try this again. Let's go hook it to the pump, and we will see. Let's go hook it to the pump. There we go. Alright, this should work now, I think. If I can get a hold of this. If I can get a hold of the hose here. It ought to work. There we go. Alright, we got one end connected. Perfect. We got the other end connected. Perfect. Now, one thing about this fertilizer tank setup here that I really think is cool is that you can actually enter this thing. You can actually get in it. That's not what I'm going to do. Let's turn the F1 on and let's... No, that's not it either. E. Alright, so there you see I'm standing here. You can see how many gallons of liquid fertilizer we have in these tanks. We have 4,200 gallons of 28% in these tanks, and now we're going to set up to transfer from the black tanks over to the yellow tanks on the grill. Okay, so we are going to activate the tank. No, what are we going to do here? We're going to change direction to emptying, and now we're going to activate the pump. And as you can see down here in the right hand corner, we went from 4,200 gallons down to 3,600 gallons. So we transferred over 600 gallons of fertilizer. Is that right? No. 500 gallons. No, 600 gallons. Yeah, 600 gallons. Okay. Which I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check. I think these tanks. I mean, they don't have any markings on them. They're not real detailed tanks. So they don't have any markings on them. I'm gonna have to double check and see if that's right. Because that doesn't really look like a 300-gallon tank to me. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check that. Okay, so let's just drop this off, and we will see if we can pull it back. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it here for now. No, I'll tell you what. We'll drag it back this way, so when we come by, we'll leave it right there. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just leave it right there. So as I was saying, the manure mod is really cool. There's just some, there's just some hose things that are kind of quirky. But overall, it's a really cool mod. And if you've never played with it before, I would highly recommend going and checking it out. All right, so let's go over to. We're not going to start on field 33, which is directly in front of us. We're actually going to go over on the other side of these trees, and we are going to start sowing our wheat over there. So we will travel right over there quickly. And I keep telling myself, one thing I'm going to do this winter is I'm going to clear a path through these trees so that I can get from my barnyard to this field 32 over here without having to go out the road and down that way. Alright, so one of the very cool things that we're going to be able to do with this 1590 drill is we can now seed our wheat. We'll be able to seed wheat, and we'll be able to sow soybeans without doing any tillage prior to it. So we are ready to do this. Let me think of how I want to. Where do I want to end up? I think I want to end up right back here in this corner where we came in. I think that would be a good place to end up. So let's set up a course play for this, because there's some other stuff I want to talk to you about as we are sowing this field. I've got some other interesting developments that we're going to talk about. Okay. Let's set up a course play. So first thing, we'll go to course. Let's change this. All right, there we go. We'll change it to fertilizing and seeding. So we'll go to course generation. 32 is field we're in, and it's a user because it's a customized field border. We want to go to ending location is the current vehicle position. Starting direction, we'll make it automatic for now. We'll see what it does. Headland, yes, around headland passes. We'll try 3 and see how that goes. You never really know whenever you're creating a course play course for a new implement if it's going to take, how many headland passes it's going to take for it to be able to turn around, or for course play to be able to turn around. We'll start with counterclockwise as always. We'll start on our up and down rows first, and we'll do our headland. We'll sow our headlands last, so we're not constantly running over our what we already planted. Smooth corners, overlap, that's fine. No skip rows. Okay, this is on auto now, but I'm gonna go up to 6.5 and we'll see how this works. And now what is this telling me over here? How much seed am I gonna use? So this says in order to plant wheat, we're gonna use this many liters, which I'm not sure how much that is. But anyways, alright, let's generate the course and see what it looks like. And that looks like a pretty reasonable course. It's all straight back and forth. And we're going to be starting over here in the northwest corner. Alright, so that all looks pretty good. I'm fine with that. And what we'll do here is just quickly, we will go from here over to there. And we'll get started with our sowing. I'm really glad to have this tractor back and have it operable, because this drill is one of the things that I really wanted to start using, because in Oklahoma, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I know there's some guys from Oklahoma that watch this channel, and I know there's still a lot of tillage done in Oklahoma, a lot of full tillage type farming, but there's also an awful lot of no-till farming, and the no-till aspect of farming is what I'm most familiar with. The friends of mine that I go and help some, they're primarily no-till unless they have a field that's very rough, or it's a field that they have just started farming. And at that point, they may do some tillage. If there's a lot of compaction in areas, they may pull a ripper through those areas to try to reduce the compaction. But for the most part, they're no-till farmers. They no-till. They got no-till drills. They're actually big air seeders, but they got no-till drills, and they're big planters no-till as well. So being familiar with no-till and knowing how much time it can save, I really wanted to be able to start a no-till practice on my farm here in FS19. Alright, let's get started here and we'll see how this goes. Somewhere here, I need to make sure that we are going to be using, use fertilizer of cedar. It's activated. Perfect. Let's set this thing to go probably at the nearest point, and let's see what happens. And there we go. we are no-till seeding our wheat. So like I said, this drill is a really nice. It's a nice mod. You know, there's lots of rotating parts. The row units themselves, you know, are nicely done and all. Overall, it's a nice drill. I think it actually may have been converted from like FS 17 or FS 15, maybe even. But yeah, it's a nice drill. There again, it's a good fit for this tractor. It's just about the right size. So I'm just glad I was. It's a good starter no-till drill, and so it's gonna allow me to no-till in my wheat, of course. That's what I'm doing now. But also, one of the things I'm going to be able to do going forward is I will be able to no-till some soybeans in to my wheat stubble to double crop soybeans if I so choose to do that. So that's another thing that's going to be handy about having this no-till drill, is that I will be able to no-till in some double crop soybeans. So that is good. All right, let's see how well it handles this turn down here, because that's always, if you're familiar with Courseplay, you know that's always kind of the telltale is how it's always the telltale of how well you've set up your course, as it's how well the turns on the headlands are completed. And that obviously was terrible, and that is not going to work at all. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to do this. We're going to get rid of this course. We're going to back to course generation, and we'll bump our headland pass up to 4. And we'll make that 5 again. Current vehicle position, we don't want that. We want to go back to last used position. And that will tell Courseplay that, nope, we still want to, even though our tractor's up here, we still want to finish our course down here like we had before. So let's generate course. And so now, as you can see, we have 4 headland passes, and we will back this thing up and start on the row next to it, and we will see how it goes at the other end of the field. You never really know how many headland passes you're going to have to do until you turn, until it turns, and then it's kind of, so that is probably not the right course. Let's turn on all of these, and we'll see. Ah, yes, okay, I see what the problem is. Okay, we'll back up here, and we will start on this one. I'll just have to go back later and clean up that pass right there to the right of the tractor. Alright, let's start course. Now we're headed down the right direction. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back off. Let me leave them all off for now, no big deal. Alright, so let's talk about state of the gameplay here. So just to catch some of you guys up, guys, this is going to be a little bit longer video. It's probably going to be a 45-minute video or so. Because there's some other things that I want to see if we can get this this drill set up and working well with Courseplay, And then there's also another big topic that I want to discuss with you guys. Um, and that is a new mod, believe it or not, that I have discovered for FS19 that is the mod that I have been wanting for forever. Probably since I started playing Farming Simulator back in like 2011. The name of the mod is the Real Life Numbers mod. And it's kind of an ambiguous name, but essentially what this mod does is it completely overhauls the economics and the agronomic side of Farming Simulator. So those of you that have been watching me for a little while, you know that I take my realism um, pretty much to the extreme, and I try to play as real as I can, and I try to do things as, you know, realistic as I can while still keeping the game reasonably fun. I play on hard difficulty settings. I start out with older used equipment that's smaller. You know, I start out with not a whole lot of money because that's just what I like to do. I like to pretend, and all my videos have a story that goes with them. I like to pretend that I'm, you know, a struggling farmer that's starting out. So what the Real Life Numbers mod does is it changes. Oh gosh, I probably once I get it figured out, I'm gonna do a whole video just um, just talking about this mod. Um, but I mean, it changes the seeding characteristics of the game. It changes the fertilizer characteristics of the game. It changes the yield characteristics of the game. It changes the sale prices for everything, for fertilizer, for bales, for all the different you know, commodity crops like wheat, corn, you know. It changes all that, and and tons more. I mean, it completely overhauls the animal husbandry part of the game and makes it just so much more realistic. And the great thing about the mod is that it allows somebody like me who's familiar with um, the way some of the scripting in Farming Simulator works, it allows me to customize all those different variables to the way I want to play the game. So, you know, if you guys remember from videos past, you know, I was using the fruit adjustment mod. I was using a couple of other mods to try to make the economic side of the game what I wanted it to be and how I wanted it to play it. Well, that's what this mod allows me to do, and it allows me to do so much more. I mean, for instance, one of the things that I talked about early on in this series that I did not like about Farming Simulator, and never have since um, since Giants as it started including it in Farming Simulator, is I did not like the the prices that we get paid for contracts. And one of the things that this Real Life Numbers mod does is it allows me to set what the real life contracting rate is for, you know, plowing, for fertilizing, for, you know, sowing, for harvesting. It allows me to set the prices for all those variables. And it allows me to do that in such a way that when when Farming Simulator, the base Farming Simulator game creates these contracts, it takes into consideration the fair price that I set with the real life numbers mod. It takes that into consideration when it generates the reward prices for all these contracts. So I can actually go to my Oklahoma State custom rates website and look up the actual custom rate for contract sowing in Oklahoma, and I can input those numbers into the real life numbers mod, and Farming Simulator 19 will use those real life numbers to generate the contract rewards for the different types of contracts. I mean, it is amazing. It is amazing what this mod does. And the sad part about it is this mod has been out for like a year and a half at least, and I never heard of it until just a couple of days ago. So I'm filming this on, let's see, this is December the 16th. I didn't find out about this mod until like December, it was like December the 13th, 2020. 2021. Sorry, this is 2021. So this mod's been out for at least a year and a half, and I didn't find out about it until now, which is really a bummer because I've been looking for a mod like this for ever since I started playing Farming Simulator and realized how rudimentary the economics system for Farming Simulator is. Now, is the real life numbers mod for everybody that plays this game? Absolutely, it is not. If you play Farming Simulator as a tractor driver simulator, and all you want to do is drive the biggest and the best and the baddest right now, like if you need instant gratification in Farming Simulator, you do not want this mod. Because all this mod does, honestly, the purpose of this mod is to make Farming Simulator more realistic, and by doing so, makes it more difficult. I mean, that's just the honest answer for what this real life numbers mod it does. Is it makes it harder. It takes the hard difficulty level for Farming Simulator and cranks it up to 10. Cranks it up to 11. And you can crank it up to 20 if you choose to do so. Or you can just make it like I've done, as I've just made it, and I've just tried to make it more realistic. I've just tried to make it more like real life. And I'll be honest, I'm not completely finished setting all of the different attributes and all of the different variables yet. I still have some fertilizer variables to kind of change and kind of work on. I think I have all the correct variables in for the crop of wheat. So in other words, I have all the seeding rates are correct for real life. Like the yield rates are going to be correct for real life. The length of days it takes to grow are all similar to real life. So I went through. I knew I was going to plant wheat first, and wheat is probably the crop that I'm most familiar with out of all the crops in Farming Simulator. So I chose to start with wheat and go through all the calculations and conversions and everything to get wheat figured out. And I have done that. And so now when it's time to plant soybeans and corn and all that, I can just go through and follow basically the same procedure I used to calculate the variables that I need to put into the real life numbers mod. Now, if that all sounds horribly boring and tedious for you, that's perfectly fine. Um, I don't expect. I mean, I don't expect maybe any of you to want to use this mod, honestly, especially now that FS22 has come out. But like I was saying earlier, FS22 at this point for me, it's just like a grind. It's just, I'm playing it to kind of familiarize myself with the game, but really it's just kind of, it's like all the other farming simulator games have been in the past. They're all just basic. They're all just kind of boring for the first year, and then things really start to liven up when there's new maps that come out, and there's lots of new equipment and lots of scripting, gameplay scripting mods that come out to really make the game fun. For me, that's kind of where FS22 is right now. It's just it's still kind of in the lame phase. Hear me out and don't get me wrong. It's not a bad game. I actually, so far, am fairly impressed with it. It's just kind of lame. It's just kind of boring for me. There's no enormous selection of mods yet, and for me, the mods is really what makes this series of games fun. If there were no mods, if there wasn't this huge global, modding community that went along with the game, I would have gotten bored with the game a long time ago. And it doesn't matter if it's FS, 2011 or FS, 22. It wouldn't have mattered. I'd have been bored with it long ago. So that's a little bit about what's going on here on the farm. We're going to no-till. We've sold some equipment. I did not sell my planter. I've still got my old 6-row John Deere planter around, my 7200 planter. It is still on the farm. I didn't sell it because I wasn't going to have, I don't have the money to, I didn't have the money to upgrade my drill and my planter in the same year. So the planter's going to stick around. I may still plant some soybeans with the planter. I may plant the soybeans with this drill. We're just going to have to see, kind of where we're at and how we're going to do things this next year exactly. Because I may still plant a field of full season beans, and then maybe I'll plant a field or two of double crop beans. We're just going to kind of see. But that is sort of where the farm is at. And it's going to be fun, I think. I'm really looking forward to this real numbers mod. I think it's going to make FS19, for me anyways, it's going to make it even more fun than it has been before. And I can tell you that FS19 has been one of my favorite versions of this game so far. It really has. And like I said, one of the reasons is because of all the mods that are out now for it. So I have my last several videos from FS22 that I've released have been for FS22, and I would probably say I'm at the point now in FS22 that it's kind of like, okay, I've sort of figured this out, and I'm kind of bored with it. So don't be surprised if a lot of the videos that you see in the future, for the near term anyways, are going to be here on Oklahoma Ride Along from FS19. And it's actually interesting because I actually get a lot more views. There have been getting a lot more views on my FS19 videos than I have been getting from my FS22 videos. So you guys know I'm not necessarily in it just for the views. And then at the same time, if I'm not in it just for the views, I might as well play a game that I enjoy playing. I might as well, for now, play the version that I enjoy playing the most, and this is FS19. So Guys, if you've made it this long through the video, I really appreciate you watching. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see and think this sounds interesting, my style of gameplay, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe and hit the bell, so that way you know when I release a new video. And guys, you know, if you subscribe and you decide, nah, this guy's not for me, it's pretty easy to unsubscribe. All you got to do is just, you know, hit unsubscribe. But guys, thanks for giving me a chance. Thanks for sticking with me through all these FS22 videos that I've been putting out. I know a lot of you really like the FS19 and the story-based kind of role-play gameplay. So thanks for sticking it out with me, and look forward to seeing a lot more of the Oklahoma countryside in the future. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.